there, welcome to the kitchen at Westminster. It's time for saving time again. This week we're going to be using the sales at No Frills, which are in place until Wednesday of next week, to make oven fried chicken, homemade French fries, and roasted green beans. Everything's in the oven, super simple. It's a little bit messy getting the chicken ready, but you know, we can wash up easily enough. No Frills this week, you can get a 10-pound bag of potatoes for $3.97. Obviously, we're not going to use anywhere near the 10 pounds, so the cost of this meal includes many meals to follow. The chicken thighs and drumsticks, we're using thighs, are on sale for $2.97 a pound. 2 pounds will do 4 people easily. Green beans, fresh green beans, on sale for $1.97 a pound. I would recommend about a pound. Altogether, we're looking at about $12, and that's going to keep potatoes going for the rest of the week and give us a lot of good food tonight. Let's get cooking. We're going to start with the chicken. So all I've done with this chicken, I took it out of the package, gave it a little rinse. That's all that's happened there. And that's pretty normal. So for this chicken, we're going to start with, we've got to set up some bowls. First bowl, we're going to put flour in it. For this amount of chicken, 2 pounds of chicken, about a cup of flour will do the trick. So I've got my 1 cup measure here, and in we go, just plain flour, whatever you want to use. Again, whatever you've got is going to be fine. So we've got our flour in the first bowl, and then that can go to the side. I want to season the flour with a little salt and pepper. Easy peasy, just like that. And a little bit of salt. Probably half teaspoon of each. And then mix it around a little bit. That's going to be station 1. Station 2, I'm using mayonnaise. Now with this recipe, I want you to use whatever is most convenient for you. I'm going to use mayonnaise. If you have sour cream, use sour cream, equal amounts. If you have neither of those, then use 2 eggs, beat them with about 1/4 cup of milk. Any of one of those 3 items will work for you. For that matter, if you've got plain yogurt, use that. Not flavored yogurt, only plain. You want to have about a cup. So that's, we're going to go 1 cup. And that's it for the mayonnaise. And just give it a little stir to soften it up. So again, 1 cup of either plain yogurt, mayonnaise, or sour cream, or 2 eggs beat with about 1/4 cup of milk. Any of those 3 will work. There's no reason why you couldn't, if you have a little bit of each, blend all 3 of those into 1 pot. It'll be okay. Next bowl is our breading. So this is the part where you're going to get your flavor. You're going to use about a cup of breadcrumbs, and just whatever brand and style of breadcrumbs you have, and into the bowl. That's it. And then use about 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. If you don't have Parmesan, nothing bad is going to happen. Just top up with more breadcrumbs. Okay, so I like the Parmesan. It gives it a little je ne sais quoi. Not important though. We can do strictly breadcrumbs. So I'm going to say about 1/4 cup. So I'll go 1 more spoon, just like that. And then again, a little bit of salt, not too much because good chance those breadcrumbs already have salt in them. And then some pepper. And I don't think you need to be too shy with the pepper. Go ahead and put some in there. And then finally, a little bit of paprika. And honestly, it doesn't make it over hot or anything like that. It just gives it a little extra oomph. And so about a teaspoon of paprika. If you don't care to use a measuring spoon, don't worry about it. About a teaspoon. And in it goes. And then give it a nice mix through. You want everything to be blended all the way through. So just folding it. And that's going to make our breading. If for some reason we need more after we get going, easy enough just to put a little bit more of each thing into the bowl. And just like that, it already smells good. I should say, in terms of the breadcrumbs, again, if you don't have any breadcrumbs, you could crush soda biscuits and just make a good crumb using them. Or you could crush cornflake cereal if you've got that. Anything like that. You just want to get a good crumb going. So again, don't go to extra trouble to have something specific. You can use what you've got. This is where it gets messy. We start with station 1, our flour. And we go into 2 and 3. Line ourselves all up. I've got these ready because I know my hands are going to get messy. Get a nice casserole dish, again, something with sides. Chicken has skin on, it's going to create some grease. There's going to be fat in the pan. If you use a baking sheet, it gets messy and it's harder work than it needs to be. Line a casserole pan with some parchment paper for easy cleanup. And then we'll be good to go. And we're just going to get everything lined up, and like I say, get ready. Our hands are going to get messy. I have already taken the step of putting some water in the sink. I do that because once my hands are messy, I don't want to touch the faucets anymore because I'm going to make a mess. So I plan ahead, put some water in the sink, and then I can just walk over there and plunge my hands in and get cleaned up. I don't like cleaning up endlessly, so easier to do that. Just a little step ahead. So take your chicken, don't skip out and or pay extra and get skinless, boneless. You want a nice piece of chicken and you want the skin. It's fried chicken, we want that. First thing you're going to do is put it in your flour. You want to coat the chicken in the flour. So see how nice that looks? It's just covered in flour. That's what's going to allow it to crisp up. Draw some of the moisture out of it, allows it to crisp. Then we take that same piece of chicken and into our mayonnaise. And you want to get it messy, okay? You want it to get messy. You want that mayonnaise on there. And just use your fingers a little bit. I warned you, you're going to get messy. Come over here and straight into your breading. Give it a rub, look at that. And just turn it around a few times so that you get all the sides with some breading on it. And then into the pan. We're getting messy. Next piece, same thing. You're just cycling through. Now, just in case I forget to say it later, because we've used this, even if you have leftovers, they've got to go into your compost bin. We've had raw meat in them. So if we wasted a little bit, let's just call that a little bit of waste and not worry too much because you cannot use that again. There we are, all coated into our mayonnaise. And again, just do like that. Use your fingers, rub it around. My sister told me I can never ask people to skin chicken on here. She says it's too messy and no one wants to do that except me. But this isn't so bad. It's just stuff. And then into this. And here we go, and get a good coat on there. If we have any extra left at the end, we'll just sprinkle it around. But right now, there it is, all coated into the pan. And here we go. Now, I want to point out as well here, if you're 2 people, just do as much or as little as you need for your family. Once you've bought the chicken, if you only use a few pieces out of the pack, just rewrap and freeze the ones you don't use today. It's going to be there for you to make the same meal or another one in another couple of weeks when you're in the mood for it again. And there's that mayonnaise on there. See how nice that coats? When you do the egg wash, it just kind of comes out. It's a dip and like more of a plunge than a spread. I like using the mayonnaise. I like the flavor of it and the good coating. Mayonnaise really is just eggs and oil, so really it's the same thing. Nicely coated into the pan. And look at this. This is what I warned you about. This is not, if you have kids, for heaven's sakes, let them do it. They're going to love getting this messy, but guide them to the sink when you're finished. And well done. And on there. And in. A little bit messy. Oh, and I forgot, I'm sorry. Preheat your oven to 425 right at the get-go. The time you've got your chicken all coated and everything, you'll be good. It'll be there. Yuck. So regardless of which crumb coating you've used here, you're just always just getting a good coating on there. If you use crackers, you can crush them right in the sleeve. And if you use Cheerio or cornflakes or something like that, I find if I put it fold a piece of wax paper around it, and then I use my rolling pin to crush it. And then it keeps it relatively tidy. But and you know what? If you've got old croutons, anything will work. And just adjust your seasoning according to what you know you made your breading out of. Obviously, soda biscuits have a lot of salt already, and if you use croutons, they're seasoned. And there we go, look at that. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. I mean, it's bad. It's pretty bad, but it's not terrible. We're gonna clean up. And look, we're not making a big mess here in the kitchen either. And look at how nice that looks. And in there, we're gonna have a full pan. Last piece. Into the flour. I'm getting really messy. I've got thick fingers now. And that's gonna come out of there. And all around, I've got a little bit of extra mayonnaise in here, but I'm not gonna be too nervous about wasting a tablespoon or two. If you know what, you're better to err on that side, because if we had to add some mayonnaise to that, then you have to stop, wash off all this, right? A little bit extra isn't gonna hurt. And there it goes. And last piece into the pan. Now, before I go any further, I've got to wipe the bulk of it off here. Ew. And then I'm going to come over here to this sink water that I told you I had ready. And then I can just get my hands in there and rinse it all. I want to be able to top up the breading on the others. So I just want to get that off of there. Good enough. And a little wipe off. And you know what? That's what aprons are for. I'm such a child in the kitchen. I'm always wiping my hands on my apron. Sorry about that. That's what it is in the garden too. So with any extra of your breading mix, just sprinkle it on so that you get a good coat. It's not going to hurt if it's off on the pan itself. It'll just cook up in there, but we might as well use it. Everybody likes the extra breading on the chicken. And we won't worry about the underside. Put the meatier side up if you're able. And there we go. And there we go. And look at that. We've got a nice pan ready for the oven. So, all ready to go. We're going to do 45 minutes at 425. Now, I confess, I have actually been practicing opening the oven because I'm trying not to look so ridiculous. And I've decided if I really anchor myself, I've got a bit of a, now I feel like I've talked it up. If I fail, it's going to be a mess. Here we go. Oh, see, it wasn't so bad actually. Chicken's going in. I'm putting it on the bottom. I want to be able to keep my fries to the top so that I can easily move them around and not burn my wrist while I do it. Chicken's in. And here we go. Oh, there. I'm getting stronger or it's getting easier. I'm going to look at the time. It is 10 to 6. So 45 minutes, but I want to mark 30 for the fries. 5 past 6, I want to put my fries in the oven. Let's get busy or we're going to run out of time on that. So right now we can set these things out of our way. I'm going to take them. I've got this handy shelf over here. I'm just going to put them over here, out of my path. Wipe this up a little bit. Yuck. Whew. Messy. All of my dirty dishes are going to go over here. They're going to wait. They're going to be fine. And a little wipe up. This is going to be my compost pail. So it can all go in there. And there we go. Now, our potatoes. So whatever kind of potatoes you have are going to be fine. If you've got red skinned or yellow, it doesn't matter what kind of potatoes. Actually, if you have nice big ones, then use them because you'll get longer fries if you do that. It doesn't much matter though. These ones, I'm going to peel them. You don't have to. You know best what your family's going to like if you want to leave peels on or not for your fries. So, just to get going with this, we're going to quickly give them a peel. These are nice yellow. The ones that are on sale this week at No Frills, you get either red skinned or yellow flesh. Now, they have provided us today with the yellow flesh fry, or potatoes. We're going to be yellow French fries soon enough. You don't need to be overly picky. If the little bits of skin are left, it's going to be nice color for it. There's one. Now I've written on the board here I think I wrote 4 to 6 potatoes. These ones aren't huge, so I've got a few more than that out. You know best. I mean, growing up, they always said you do 1 potato per person plus 1 for the pot. I don't know. I mean, I raised boys. They were always hungry. I did a lot more than 1 for the pot. You know how hungry everybody is. There's 2 already. For the beans tonight, to keep it simple, instead of even bothering with turning on the stove, I'm just going to roast the beans. So once we put these potatoes in, they're going to be in there for 30 minutes. The beans need about 20. So once we get these in, we'll just trim the beans up and then put a little olive oil on and put them in the oven too. They're quite nice in the oven. And if you've already got it on, why not, right? I mean, why bother with having something else going on? You can keep it simple. Again, we're just filling up our compost bowl, and once again, I'd like to point out, no garbage tonight. We had the tray that the meat came on, that's it. Once again, we're working at filling that green bin and staying away from the blue box, if possible, whenever we can. Look at how nice that is. This is a great meal. Oven fried chicken. Everybody likes chicken. Most kids like chicken. I don't know. Not many people say not chicken. They'll say no to a lot of things, but usually chicken is a fan favorite. Thighs are often on sale. No reason why you couldn't use this with drumsticks and do it the exact same way. And again, oftentimes you can get drumsticks for a really good price. So no reason, just do it the exact same way. I would cook it. Actually, I cook it the same amount of time. I mean, they might cook a little bit faster, but it's not going to be the end of the world if they're in there 5 minutes longer than they needed to be. There's another one. And so I'm already at 5 there, and I've got quite a few more in the bowl. We'll see what we need. These are peeling up so nice. And again, if you wanted to leave some skin on and some off, you choose. If you bought the red skinned potatoes, then I'd be leaving the skins on because it looks so nice. And if that's the case, you just want to give them a good scrub. If you do that though, once you've scrubbed them, dry them. Just get a piece of paper towel and dry them. If they're wet, they will not brown. Okay? So you need to make sure that after you scrub them, you set them aside to dry, maybe on, you've got a tea towel, or like I say, just some paper towel. Do something, but if they're wet, they're not going to brown. Okay, so you need to make sure that if you scrub them, you dry them. And I don't know, I think we can go, what's that, 6? I think we'll go at least 1 more. We're gonna do 8. I wanna make sure there's enough. And there we go. And I feel like I'm forgetting to tell you something, but I don't know what it would be right now. So we'll keep going as we work along. What's my time? It's just 5 to 6. I've still got 10 minutes and all I have left to do is cut these. There we go. A little bit like that. You can peel with a knife if you want to, but you waste a lot. And that's a shame. Sometimes I think peeling with a knife is faster for me, but then I feel bad about wasting because you do take off a lot more skin. Now, this is the last one, and in the end I did all of the ones that I had out. Of course I did. Nobody's going to mind if there's some leftover French fries at the end of the day. These are so good, I promise you. They don't taste like roasted potatoes. They taste like French fries. You're going to be happy with them. Everybody's not going to say they're not really French fries. They are. And imagine that, like how many French fries we're going to get. I'm looking for my dishcloth and I'm not seeing it. I was going to wipe up. And it's going to be, oh dear. No, I don't know. Oh, I found it. I'm just going to wipe up the counter. Now, these French fries, if you imagine, we've used maybe 2 pounds of potatoes here at most. That's a lot of fries. A bag of frozen fries costs, I don't know, I mean, I don't even know, like $4 probably for maybe a pound. there's a big difference. We're talking about 10 pounds of potatoes here. You can get a lot. It's worth the extra effort and time. Here's our potatoes. Now I've got a nice big bowl ready. We want to cut them into 1/4 inch pieces if possible. So you're thinking about fries. So I usually cut them in the long angle so that you're going to get long fries. And that one's thin, so I'm just going to go 2. That one's thin. This one's thicker, so we'll go 3 or 4 out of that one. I think we can go 3. There's 1 and 2. And then they'll all go into the bowl. And then we'll do the same thing here. So we're going to go 1, and I'm thinking 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch is about the width of your finger, probably, is one way of looking at it. So if you're looking and thinking, how thick should I do them? About the size of your finger. But keep your finger out of the way. And there's that and that. And if you think one looks extra wide, just give it another cut in the other direction. As with last week, the key thing is to have them as close to the same size as possible so that they cook evenly. If we've got one really big one, obviously it's not going to cook. And there, those ones can go in. And we're just going along. I will point out that I do fries the exact same way with sweet potatoes. So everything we're doing right now and will be doing, I do the exact same thing for sweet potato fries, and they're such a treat. We'll be doing them eventually, I'm sure of it. I like them too much to leave them out. And there we go. So depending on how many people you have, that's how many fries you're going to do. And again, and again, how are we doing for time? Look at me, this is great. We're doing great. And this isn't so bad. I mean, you can be chatting, and maybe you've got good help. Maybe you've got some young person in the kitchen with you, and they're happy to help and happy to be included. Isn't that nice, lucky duck? And there we go. And another one. I've got to pay attention to my cutting. I'm trying to watch the camera, but I need my fingers to measure French fries. And I can smell the chicken cooking here already. Can you smell it, Shannon? It already smells nice. And in. And if you had stuck to the 4 to 6 potatoes, you'd probably already be done with them. I did more. But that, I feel like people like them. And there we go. And another. And another. So again, always looking at your finger and thinking that's about 1/4 inch. See, that's not so much. Easy, easy. And another one. And another one. And even in terms of watching the time, I keep saying 5 after 6. Nothing bad is going to happen to any of it. If the chicken's in a little bit longer, it's going to be okay. And if the French fries are in a little less, as long as they're cooked, they're done. So it's going to be okay. We're not going to get too nervous. It's a ballpark. And then that, and that. If you want it to be fancy, you could cut your fries into nice wedges and all of that, but I find just doing them in the sticks, it keeps the cook time nice and simple. You cut them in thick wedges, they look nice. They're nice home fries, kind of like pub fries then if they're cut into wedges. But they will take a little longer to cook, so keep that in mind, okay? And last one. Bravo. And there. And 1, 2. Thinking about my fingers. It's true, right? They are just about the size of my finger. It works out. And into the bowl. And now, this one, look, I just randomly saw it and I thought that's a good finger. Now, give them a little shake around. Wipe your hands on your apron, push your sleeves back up. All you're gonna do for this, we need some cornstarch. Now, the cornstarch, everyone kind of thinks, what are we doing with the cornstarch? Well, I'll tell you. Same thing with the flour on the chicken. You coat your potatoes in the cornstarch first. Then they'll brown up. They'll get crispy. They'll be like deep fried French fries. About 2 tablespoons. And again, you don't need to measure this. Just think in terms of 2 tablespoons. I'm looking and thinking I'm gonna need a little bit more at least. We'll set that to the side. Take a spoon or just your hands. If you're happy to get your hands mucky again, then by all means, just use them. Basically what you want to do is toss those potatoes in the cornstarch until they look like they're all getting evenly coated. See how that is? You want them all to get a little bit on there. If it looks like they're not, throw a little bit more cornstarch in there. That looks pretty good, and there's lots in the bottom of my bowl still. Okay, so you can see. That looks great. Next thing you're going to do, I'm going to set that aside and say we're done with that. Olive oil, vegetable oil, whatever you have in the house is going to be fine. You want, again, about 2 tablespoons. So, to me, that looks like 1, and that looks like 2. And I do that because in my mind, I'm imagining this and thinking, how much would I pour into that? And then, lid back on. Take that same spoon, give them a little push around, and might not be heart smart, but these are French fries, so we're going to add some salt. And you don't have to do that. I'm going to. There you go. And just think, again, I would go about a tablespoon and give them a good coat, and you want them all to look like they're coated with the oil now. So they've got that nice shiny appearance. And we're going to take them and put them, you want to use a baking sheet for your fries, line it with parchment for easy cleanup, and load them on right out of the bowl like that. At this point, you can use your spoon or a lifter. You want to push them around to make them be in a single layer on the pan. This is a nice big baking sheet, but obviously if you have a cookie sheet of any size, it'll do. And you just want to be able to spread them out so that they cook evenly. If they're stacked up thick, they're not going to cook the same. And there we go. Shannon could show you, it is 6 minutes after 6. We've done a brilliant job of this. So they're going in. Here we go. I'm going in. Oh, gee, hot dog. Oh, the chicken smells good. Hot dog, right? I know. She's laughing at me again. And in it goes. Now our fries are in there too. And here, the dynamite. Okay, now we're on to beans. The beans take 20 minutes, so we want to be 10 minutes in. We're going to get those beans in. Now, depending on how full you made your baking sheet, if there's lots of room on it, no reason you can't just throw those beans onto the same baking sheet. I suspected that I was going to have that pretty full, so I've got another little pan ready. So, beans. I gave these a rinse earlier, just in anticipation of what we were doing, and then they've been draining the whole time, which is also good. So all you're going to do here is trim them, and you can do that just with your fingers if you want. Typically with a bean, they'll snap, and then you can just do that. Now sometimes I find it faster just to get a handful of them, get that bit of potato off of there. And I just kind of line them all up, make a nice tidy end, and then you can go snip. And then shift them down, line them up, and give them a cut. And then that's pretty easy. And then we're gonna put them into that pan, or like I said, if you've got lots of room on your baking sheet, you can add them to that. So, and if that's the case, then you're just gonna put them into a bowl for now. And again, line them up, snap, and turn, and snap. And yeah, this is a lot of beans. I think this is more than a pound. I said to No Frills about a pound. I feel like they've been more than generous with that. No way we're gonna need all of these. And again, in terms of quantity, think in terms of how many people you're feeding and what their plates are going to look like. And say to yourself, you know, that's probably one person right there. In terms of how many beans they're going to put on their plate, just just use your eyes and imagine the dinner plates that you know you have and the people that you know are eating, and go from there. And because if they're left over, you know what? A lot of people overlook beans. Nothing wrong with having beans raw. I put them in lunch kits with carrot sticks and things. A lot of people don't think of beans that way, but they're lovely raw. So nice and crunchy, and they're good, and what the heck. If you've got them, throw them in. And there's another one. And oh my goodness, they've given us lots here. And line them up, line them up. I like doing it this way because I get a lot of distance in a short time. And flip them. Truth knowing, you don't even have to trim the ends off. I always do. I find if you don't, they usually get left on the plates anyway. So, but you really, there's no reason why you have to. Nothing wrong with eating it. I don't think most people do. I think they're tidier when they're like this. And we've got, look at how many we've already got, and there's still, we've barely touched what's in the bowl. Off. And again, I'd say there's probably enough in there for 3 people so far. And there's another bunch. And oof. Just keep going until you think you've got enough. There. And if you grow beans in the garden, even better, right? It won't be long. It won't be long. It's already seed starting time. For people like me who get excited. Got a bit of a stick there, and we won't bother with it. Once we get the beans all trimmed, we're gonna, again, just a little bit of oil on them, just a little bit, and some salt, whatever, salt and pepper on top, and that is it. Roasted beans are so simple. And you know what? It avoids the problem of sometimes they get overcooked on the stove, right? You walk away and there's a 30-second window of they're just right and now they're soggy. So by roasting them, you never run into that. And it's true, some vegetables are like that. 1 minute they're not done, and the next thing you know, you're like, oh, they went too far. And there's that. I think we've got lots of beans here now. I don't know. 1, 2, no, maybe a few more. What the heck? We'll go one more. This will be the last bunch. I'm going to quit that. And how are we doing for time? 10 after. Look at that. We're brilliant because we've got until 1/4 to be at our 20-minute mark. And that means we're like within 25 minutes of supper. Like, what do you think of that? We haven't been that long yet cooking, getting things ready, and we're within a half hour to eat. How crazy is that? Now, I don't know. What do you think? Do the last few? My pan's getting kind of full. It's kind of silly not to, isn't it? No, you know what? This isn't going to cook if I fill it up any further. I'm going to stop. This is our waste. And there we go. There we go. Now look at that. I've got to show you because I think it's fantastic. This is it. This is what we wasted. This is it. This is our garbage tonight. It's going straight to the green bin, and you know I'm going to tell you, and then it's going to come back as more food. And that's a wonderful thing. Now, these, we're just going to do simple, just a drizzle of olive oil. Just to coat them a little bit, just on the top. And then get your salt. And just a little, that's lots. And we can do that. And there you go. That's it, they're ready. I might put a little bit of pepper on there too, you know. Now, you could, if you have any grape tomatoes, slice them in half and throw them in there with the beans. I promise you, you're not going to be sorry. So if you have a few in the fridge and you've been wondering what to do with them, this is the place. A couple of sliced tomatoes, brilliant. The little grape ones, they're so good. It's 1/4. There we are. Last thing's going in the oven. Now, here we go. Here we go. Wasn't so bad. I'm getting really good at this. I'm feeling weirdly proud. And in it goes. And you know what? At the same time as we have this open, good opportunity to push those fries around a little bit, flip them. So we'll get a lifter. I've got the plastic lifter out because with the parchment, you want to be careful not to tear it, or all our hard work of keeping it tidy is going to be lost. Just pushing them around, making sure that they're coming up even. And there they are. And back in it goes. And that's it. We'll close it up. And in 20 minutes, we'll do a done test. That's it. I'll see you in 20 minutes. I'm going to clean up a bit. You do whatever you feel like. 6:25, food should be ready. And, oh, look at these fries. I tell you what, they're done. And voila. Beautiful. These, right? Look how nice they are. I'm going to take everything out and then we'll stick some forks in and make sure things are done. There's that. And, whew. Here's our chicken, also looking really nice. Ooh, beautiful. Beautiful, sizzling, holy Dinah. And our beans also look really good. And I'm just going to close this. Get ready, here it comes. I feel a little more dignified about it than I did in past weeks. Now, we're just going to check. Those pierce easily. Look at how nice those look. Don't they look good? Don't they look good? Beans are obviously done. And they get a little shriveled looking, and that's perfect. And you can see they're nice. Now the chicken. Chicken needs to be cooked to 165 degrees. We can stick a fork in, and as long as we're gumming clear juices. We might want to go another. I'm going to put it in for another minute. Those are pretty beautiful. That one looks good. This one. I'm going to go another minute. While we get these things sorted out, this can go back in the oven. Just to be careful. And here we go. And oh, dear. Is it better? I don't know. Shannon's laughing. I might be kidding myself about it being better. And chicken in. We're just going to set it in there while we deal with the other things. It'll be fine. And back. Wow. Look at how nice this is. These French fries, you can see, they're beautiful. Look at them. Aren't they nice? And see how they're nice and crispy? That's the cornstarch at work. Not at all. Look, there's no oil on here. You deep fry French fries and they're a terrible mess of oil and everything. That's all beautiful. The beans, you can see again how nice they look. They come in so nice in the roasting. And they don't lose their color when you boil them. All the, the water you drain off is green. It's all the color coming out of them. And we've kept it here, all those good vitamins. They're nice and tender. You can see that they go through the fork easily. Now, this is when you can call everyone to the table and get them ready. Suit yourself. You're going to plate this here, or you're going to take everything to the table and let everyone plate their own, one way or the other. For our purposes, this is as good as done. The chicken was largely done. If I was serving this at home, I'd be putting this into a bowl to go to the table, maybe with a piece of paper towel under the French fries, collect any residual oil that might come off of them. Beans straight into a bowl. If you had the tomatoes in there, trust me, they're beautiful right now. And colorful too. That chicken's going to be ready. I know it is. We're going to bring it back out. This is good to go. It's going to be time to eat. And it is 6:30. I feel confident we start it right around 5:30. So this is an hour, possibly an hour, maximum hour, 10 minutes. Once again, I'd like to thank No Frills for their donation tonight. We're going to return their good deed by paying this food forward and taking it to a family here in town tonight for their dinner. I would also like just to remind everyone to quit letting food eat up all your time and money. We can cook beautiful meals in an hour or less for a reasonable amount. $12. Look at the food we have. I'm going to get the chicken. Oh. And there we go. $12. How about that? Plus, don't forget, we've still got about 8 pounds of potatoes over here. There you go. Have a great dinner. Bon appetit.